everybody, and welcome back to another day of 31 Days of Indie Horror. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got an awesome special guest, Misty Wagner. How you doing, Misty?
I'm doing good, Jonathan. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Misty and I have been friends for a while on Facebook, but she hadn't been on any of the shows yet. So I just thought, I'd ask, and sometimes people are okay with it. Sometimes people don't wanna be in front of the camera. So, that's their choice. But I'm really excited that you said yes, and thank you. I'm really excited about this.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to be talking about I think it was 2020, the year that it came out. It's probably one of the worst years. Well, actually, take that back. It's probably one of the best years to come out on video. Not the best years to come out in the theater because the theater was closed in 2020, but probably one of the best years to come on like Tubi,
Right, because everybody's at home with nothing to do.
Yeah, that's all they're doing is just searching things on Tubi. Probably like skyrocketed that year. So anyway, this movie came out then. I don't know when it came on Tubi or when it came out like officially. But I got finished then, and it's called Paintball Massacre. I did not know when I picked it because I knew nothing about it. I think you even asked me like, why did I pick this particular film or whatever, and I had no idea. Like what I like to do, and I'm doing for all my 31 days. So generally, I pick something from either YouTube or Tubi, generally Tubi, that people can watch because everybody has Tubi. There's no excuse of like I can't rent that movie, or I don't have that streaming service. Tubi is free. You can just download it and watch the movie. And so I picked this film and didn't know anything about it, and found out it was from the very start it was a UK film. And you said at first, the first time you watched it, you didn't have subtitles at all?
No, I watched it straight through, and so the second time I watched it with subtitles, which helped a lot understand more what's going on.
Right, because like their accents are pretty thick.
Some of them are.
Yeah, some of them definitely are, and that's fine. Like because they're shooting from UK. That's it's watching a foreign film in a way. But when I was watching, I was like, I'm glad. I always have subtitles on
Do
TV.
you?
Now some films don't
Okay.
have subtitles. Some I've noticed that some of the especially like the older films and stuff, they don't have subtitles, but this one definitely did, thank God. And
Yes.
I had it from the very start. So yeah, I always watch it. I'm deaf in my left ear, so there are going to be times I don't catch something, period. And even in this movie, I had to kind of go back and make sure I heard what I heard, or that something was going on exactly. Like it was not very confusing. I'm gonna say this, and pun is gonna be intended, but it is a paint by numbers slasher.
Yes.
It really
Yes.
is. And I when I watched it, I was like, it's just sort of like I've seen this before, just in something else. It may not be paintball. The paintball is what's new. And even that's not new in a slasher because, as I told you before, Friday the 13th, part 6, I want to say 6, had Jason Lives had a paintball crew that got slashed by Jason. And I think they did that better because like it was more fun to see Jason just slashing people.
Just come in, yeah.
Which is so funny to think about because like how does a 6 foot something tall man like that sneak up on people? I don't know.
Right? You would see him.
Right. You'd think, but somehow they managed to do it
Maybe.
where it works. I mean, you watch it, you're like, oh shit, that person just ran in. Maybe they're thinking it's one of the people in the thing until they see the machete come down on their neck. I don't know.
Okay, but this killer was in broad daylight. Nobody saw him.
That's true. And he's also paintballing back at them, which I thought was
Yeah.
I've never seen it. Jason never did that because I don't think Jason died before paintball was a thing. So he didn't know how to shoot people with a
How
paintball.
to shoot it.
Yeah, he didn't know that that's what you did. Now honestly, you know what could have been cool about this movie, what they could have done that could have been awesome, is they could have treated it like a real war movie, you know? Like here you are, you're playing paintball, which is sort of you're supposed to take this as like you're going to war, right? You're dressed up in camo, you're hiding, you're shooting people from distances. But what if somebody was picking you off with a gun in real
right?
life,
And
you know?
that would be a lot different.
Yeah,
Well,
because
they did have the inspirational speech, to make it sound like it was a military thing when the guys in the war talking about they're all in it together.
yeah,
The
I
military dude,
absolutely.
they tried,
No, but see, if they went more with that and it
yeah,
became like more of a
hunt
guy,
and be hunted,
yeah,
yeah.
actually killing people, not just killing them, like slashing them, because it gets kind of gratuitous of like, okay, so how's he gonna kill him this time? But if he was just like literally just shooting people down, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and it was like almost like you were in, like, okay, this is what I would say if I were to have written this movie. And
Okay,
maybe I could still make this. Maybe this is still a thing.
maybe.
I don't know if the people from this movie get mad that I ripped them off. But the Americans are always ripping off English people, well, The Office, whatever.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, so there you go. But anyway, so what I would have done is had them be getting picked off by this military guy who maybe has PTSD or whatever. But the idea, you could still throw in the fact that he was abused in childhood by these people. Like, even though the abuses were just like, come on now. Like, these are just shit that people don't become serial killers and whatnot over being being lied to from sex or something. I think that was one of the bits is like the guy had sex with the girl instead of him or something, or whatever, hooked up with the girl instead of him, then never called her later, you know,
Yeah,
and
and he
so
saw them.
and he saw them and that made him sad and made him so mad he didn't come to school for a few months or something. I was like, really? Like, this guy just sounds like a loser, like
That's everyday high school life,
I
right?
know. Like, how many serial killers how many people have gone on revenge kills because of, that shit happens. I mean, I've had a pretty crappy, middle school, high school life. I'm not going to go kill the people who messed it up for me. I'm just, my biggest claim to fame is that I worked at a movie store and one of my bullies tried to rent a movie and had a huge late fee and I
So you
got to,
stuck it to him. Yeah.
yeah, I got to deny him, because there was a huge late fee. It was like, you're gonna cut that, right? I was like, can't, and I
Mm-mm.
literally couldn't. But anyway, point is that that was my revenge.
That
My
was your
revenge
ultimate
isn't I'm gonna
revenge.
go find that guy in the parking lot and kill them, and then, because he picked on me in high school, and shit. Who fucking cares? Like, it's high school. Everybody gets picked on. Even the bullies get picked on. It's how they become bullies, and shit. So, I mean, whatever. Anyway, point is to go back to the thing. So I would have him going around killing everybody and it's still being sort of like he's wanting to get revenge, but it would have to be like serious, like it would have to be a serious reason that he wants to get revenge, not, you know, the crap we've said so far. It had to be like they really they really like hurt him at times, um I'd almost go as far, I don't know if this would be allowed these days, but like rape, of a guy, that something
Hmm.
like that, and now he's
Yeah.
getting revenge of all the people who are cool with it, that kind of thing,
Yeah. That's something more serious than somebody stealing your crush in high school and having sex with her.
Yeah, that's literally the only, like, that pushed him on that for that one guy. There's other people who have had other stuff. They were still like, and I think the one girl said she did something even worse and never told, right? If I'm correct. I think her name was Lauren.
Well, no, Lauren did do something pretty bad. She's the one that she meant to just pull his
Oh, that's right.
pants down, but she got his underwear too,
And he had a
yeah,
boner
showed
at the
the
time, so
yeah, and showed the whole
everybody was
class. And
laughing at it and shit. And I mean, whatever. That sucks. That would literally get you probably kicked out of that school if like it was in front of a bunch of people, including teachers or something. Those
yeah, that
kids
would
would
be
get
embarrassing, but
those kids would probably get kicked out of school for doing that to the poor kid. You know. Um, but I don't know. I don't think this kid was as abused as they wanted. And I kind of well, how did you see the ending go? Did you think it was going to be that guy, or did you think it was going to be something else?
I wasn't sure. I didn't think it was, going to be who they were, the missing classmate, Jess's boyfriend, because that would be too obvious. Honestly, the end was it kind of confused me. Um, because you never, I mean, they thought that it was the bully, but you actually never see that. You just see him pointing, and she's just like, okay.
It was the bully, and I believe, and my take on that was that he let her go because she wasn't a
She
part
didn't
of
do
this.
nothing.
She was not a
Right.
part of this. She wasn't even supposed to be on this trip. So
Right.
he was planning to kill all of those people off, one by one or whatever, um, and not kill, her off, right? So she was always probably going to be safe. However, so like I thought that's why, and that's why he took off the mask and she saw who it was, and so she knew, and we didn't, the audience, which I think is a cheat, because it's trying to say it could have been anybody basically that did it, but you pretty much know, and so I'm like at this rate it doesn't matter because we never got any flashbacks, so we have no idea what this guy looks like anyway, so it could be just
Well,
some
yeah,
random
that's
guy,
true.
you know.
Well, it couldn't be anybody random because because of how he killed them. It was somebody that knew their profession.
Well, right. It, and that's the
I
other
mean, it could be
thing.
a serious stalker, I guess, but then why and why the motive? I didn't understand that. Why did he kill them in that way? Why not, like you said earlier, just pick them off?
Yeah, so he kills them in ways that they're like their jobs and occupations, right, or something too. So it's very personal. Which did everybody die that way?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
the guy
They
that
all did.
died, the guy that's like basically uh was buried alive. What was his occupation?
I don't remember. What was he?
It would be funny if he worked in the
Was he the cop?
graveyard.
Was he the cop? He might have been. Was he the cop? I don't know.
I don't remember. He was the one who said he was supposed to be a cop and he lied about it or
Oh, he
something.
didn't pass the
He
okay,
didn't
and then
pass
he
the
was telling
thing.
him he didn't pass the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody else was, which is kind of crazy the extreme ways that they were killed. I guess the one that I didn't really like, how did that happen? Is the real estate agent gets killed with the big for sale sign with the stake. I mean, that looked like a pretty big stake. Like, what kind of force would it take to just kill somebody with
And
that sign?
honestly, the killer, I mean, no offense, but he does not look like Jason, you know?
No,
Like they should have found somebody
right.
who's like 7 foot, 300 pounds or something, that could just like fucking take a thing and do that. And that was the other thing is he's not supernatural. He's a human, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he's sort of like this kind of boring kind of character in a way, in my opinion. Because he like, and that's what I don't see. I don't mind it when it's like Scream, where it's two people killing people and they're getting away with it because, but even then it drives me nuts because I'm like, okay, if you're gonna pick like a little teeny tiny girl like Emma Roberts, who's a wonderful actress, but she's so tiny and she's gonna be the killer, you know, then don't make her being throwing people and doing stuff,
Right.
because it just doesn't, and it's supposed to be her. Like I don't buy it. Um, and when this guy is this small and he's putting a
Yeah.
for sale sign into somebody's stomach, I don't buy it, you know,
Yeah.
like, and it's ridiculous.
I think Lauren would have had a better chance at that than this guy.
Uh, at one point, I thought they were going to go the route of the other girl, the main girl, Jess, who wasn't supposed to be there, that she was going to be in on it, you
Hmm.
know, and I thought it would be her boyfriend who set it all up, and he was getting revenge for all these people being dicks to everybody,
Right.
you know, or something. But and maybe it could have been she was boyfriend and girlfriend with that other guy, and she's been saying she's with Aaron, and then Aaron,
Maybe.
you know, Aaron, her boyfriend or whatever, like messages them and says he's out of the game. It wasn't really him, it was the guy they killed Aaron off. That could have been cool too. Like there's a couple different ways they could have done it, which I think would have been better than the way they did it. Because when they did it, then it just becomes sort of like, okay, I've seen this. We've done this.
Yeah.
This happens in every one of these slasher films. It's generic, and I don't like generic movies. Now, I liked the for sale sign kill. I thought that was inventive and
Did
creative.
you?
Yeah. Did you not?
I mean, I think it was creative. I think the stake was so big that, like I said, I mean, what kind of force would you have to really make that kind of big old stake go through somebody?
So you liked it, but you didn't believe it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, no, I agree. It's
Like maybe
unbelievable.
if it was like on Reborn or something, but yeah. I
Well,
mean, the
once,
other guy had a knife. Yeah, you
yeah.
just can't
Well,
you
and
can't
and he
kill
kills,
somebody with a big stick.
or what was that?
I said I just didn't believe that big wooden stake. I mean, it didn't look like the little. It was like, I don't know. It looked huge to me, and he just kind of runs at him, and it goes through him. I didn't believe it.
Oh, well, too bad. You know, it was just sort of like, I don't know. Like it's just it happened, you know? Like after it was done, I was just like, okay, that guy got killed with this for sale sign. Awesome. You know, I mean, didn't even think if it was real or not. I mean, at this rate,
Oh.
him killing people didn't even seem real at all anyway, you know, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so for most of the movie, I mean, you get to kind of know some of the characters and stuff. Particularly, I mean, Lauren was sort of a. There was Sarah. Oh man, I love Sarah at first, but man, did she drive me nuts. She did all the whole movie was smoke weed and talk about Fast and Furious.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, for all that whole time. I'm like, I love you, chick, but God, if you have to talk, even that one guy's like, if I have to hear another thing about it, and I felt the same way. If I had to hear
Yes,
another one, I
I
would have turned it
agree.
off or want to turn it off, but I would have had to freaking sit up or. But I'm like, it was, it was interesting the first time when then she brought it up, like, have you seen the Fast and Furious movies? And she explains it, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was fine with it, whatever. Like, it's like, okay, they're trying to throw a pop culture reference. Then they did it again. And I was like, okay, this is getting annoying, already, you know. And I do not want another one. And
All right.
thankfully they didn't give us another one. But I was just I don't know why anybody didn't go. I mean, I know she likes Fast and Furious, but do we need two of these?
We don't need. Yeah.
No, we don't need two of them.
No.
And especially since the second one didn't even really do anything. Like there wasn't anything that the second one said that really helped
Right.
with the thing. Because really, all she at the end of the day, all she really wanted to say was that other guy was the killer. That the guy was the killer, and so she knew it.
Yeah.
And then that one girl, then Lauren got all mad when that guy told him that Sarah knew. Like Sarah knew, and you never told me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? He's gonna go, hey, I think she knows who the killer. Like I don't like they're in survival mode. It makes sense. But then she brings it up again later, like a few seconds later, and was like, yeah, I can't believe you didn't tell me. I'm like, all right, like get over it. It's time to like focus on the fact that you know, um
Right.
what was your favorite scene in the movie? I'll tell you mine. I don't know if it's the same.
My favorite scene, uh, so like I Lauren is a character that for me you just love to hate, you know.
I didn't hate
Um
her at all. I loved her completely.
I mean I mean
She was a bitch.
she was a bitch. You know, I didn't like that she wanted to leave people behind, but I totally loved her I don't give a fuck attitude. I don't have time for this. We got to
I
go.
We
And
just gotta
so
go get phones and get out of here.
we got to go. Really, it was when she, you know, reached inside the guard's guts to get the keys because she's just like, all right, fuck it, I'm going home. I'm gonna get the keys and we're leaving.
Yep. Yep. And they were like, she left like personal stuff in the thing because he knew that she was the only person that actually go into somebody's guts.
Yeah,
And
like how do you that part? Like how do you know that?
you don't, but like I'm guessing she assumed that she would be the one. I don't know. You really don't know. And it could have been anybody who, or nobody could have done that, and then they never see inside the thing.
But the guard was so calm about it too. Like her, you know, here's her guts, and she's just like, "Oh yeah, my keys are in there. Your guts are hanging out, man."
This whole time, like everybody was so cool with any of the deaths, like
Yeah.
my favorite scene was the landmine scene.
Or
And yeah, but like, so at first the guy, and I like, the problem is you can't set this up. You can't, unless that's what you want to do. Maybe that's what the filmmakers wanted to do, but you can't set it up where I know what's going to happen, because
yeah.
that's the one thing I got frustrated about. But, uh, they go on the landmine, he goes on the landmine and he clicks, right?
Whoops.
And he's like, okay, everybody move back, but be slow and be careful. There might be more of them, but get away from me, kind of thing. And then the girl, Lauren, just pushes him, yeah, or
Yeah.
shoots him, and he
Yeah.
backs up and he's like, ah, and then like he doesn't, nothing happens. So it was like, this is like the second time this or third time or something. Like this is the amount of time that's happened. I'm I must be protected by God, I'm, always whatever, right? And then of course it gets blown up. Now, because he was saying all that, I was like, yep, he's gonna get blown up. But I liked it. I liked him. Like I liked the explosion when it happened. Because if it was good, it was well done. I would have preferred to see more body parts like fly off or something. That's me personally with the gore effect. I would have loved to see blood like flying, and all this shit. But it was an explosion and shit, and they were just like, okay, there's real landmines here. Let's be careful, right?
Yeah. Like if one of them got like hit in the head with his hand or something, that would have been
Yeah,
funny.
like guts or something flew into like Lauren's hair. You know, like that
Yeah.
would have been funny. But you even said you read that this was a comedy.
I did, and I thought that's what I read, and then I went back and looked, and yes, it's labeled as a comedy, and I didn't laugh. I didn't see I didn't see anything, you know,
Well, you
funny.
laughed, but probably not for the reasons they wanted you to. Right?
I didn't laugh at the one. I didn't laugh at their attempt at the one-liners.
Right. What I'm saying is like you probably laughed at how ridiculous this movie was
Yes,
at times. So
yeah.
it's not what they wanted you to laugh at. They
Okay,
wanted you to
that's
laugh at
true.
the comedy that happens in this movie. Comedy is hard. I'm not gonna lie. I like what you think is funny is probably a little bit different than what I think is funny. There are universal comedy tropes and different things, but you know, um, I don't. I didn't really laugh. I don't think I laughed at all. I thought that Lauren was probably my favorite character, you know,
Yes.
but only because her, yeah, like you said, like her, like basically no nonsense kind of I don't give a fuck attitude made her more fun, because you
Hmm.
just didn't she was hellfire. You didn't know what she was going to do next. And I like that. Jess was my least favorite character, honestly. I love the actress who played her, but I just felt like she was lacking in
Yeah.
anything that was interesting about her. Like if Joss Whedon wrote this or something, which I know people don't like Joss Whedon now, all that stuff, but if he wrote this, he would have made her like Buffy, you know, and that's what you need. You needed somebody who's a hero, you don't need this meek chick, who
Let's just try to talk to him and maybe he'll stop.
will apologize to him and he will forgive us and let us go. Yeah, because
Hmm.
that's and what did she have to apologize for? Nothing. She was nothing but nice to this guy, you know. Um, she should have just understood everybody was gonna die except her. And if she
Yeah.
died, it was just because this guy's a dick,
But
Just
yeah, they're doomed.
yeah. So who knows? But thank God. Well, I mean, thank God for her she lived. I don't really like if she lived or died, I wouldn't have cared. In fact, I would have been probably cheering if she had died. That sounds terrible, but I would have. It's just because she's just so boring. Her character is just so mediocre, you know?
Yeah, there was nothing that made you feel for her at all.
There's nothing that stood out.
Right.
And that's a problem when it comes to these kind of movies, Because like I said, if you want to have a hero, right? You're gonna get a hero. You want somebody who is uh basically somebody flawed who you look up to but is strong and like I said, I'm gonna say like Buffy. Buffy has her issues and problems,
Hmm.
but she always was good at what she did.
Right.
This girl had nothing going for her. She locked her keys in her car.
Yeah.
That's how she starts the movie. I'm like, oh god, this is our hero. She can't even remember to keep her keys in her pocket, or whatever. Like, this is this is what we're gonna do, you know. Um, Also, she didn't need to do this. This this paintball thing didn't need she even though she was signed up to do it, she could have said no, find someone else. In fact, she
Well,
should
she
have
did
done
in the
that.
beginning. She did
Yeah,
in the beginning.
it's true, but she didn't keep going with it.
She didn't keep going.
She was just like, sure, I'll do it because the movie wants me to, not because there's a real good point to it, you know.
Yeah,
All in
her
all,
character even, her character wasn't even someone I don't think that he would even play paintball. She
I
was
don't
she
think,
was too meek.
yeah, I don't think
So
she
she
need,
should have been, you're right, she should have been out of there.
yeah, she would have, if this were real, you know, she would have said, I'm sorry that my fiance signed me up for this when obviously I'm not good at PayPal. I don't know why he would sign me up for this. And they he signed her up for it and she's in it for the sole reason of her being the potential killer or something,
Right.
or like in on it. Like I said, like the way I wish it would have gone. Maybe they didn't go that route because they thought too many people would see it, but the only other way that they saw it was with, I mean, at the end was just kind of like,
Just there.
yeah, it's like he's the killer. Okay, we don't even
Bye.
we don't even get flashbacks because I understand low budget indie,
Right.
like we're indie film, like I get it, but we don't even get any flashbacks. These are simple things you can shoot. You don't have to show them, what exactly happens, but you can kind of show that this kid's about to be harassed by other kids. You could show some other things to just make you really actually care about any of these characters at all, you know, which I guess you're not supposed to, but Jess, you're supposed to care about her, you know, and you don't. I mean, I didn't. I
No,
don't know
you
if you did.
don't.
So
No.
I don't know. They also had the chick who had the guts hanging out that the girl had to grab the keys out of.
Hmm.
She's actually a big time actress in the UK.
Oh,
She had her
really?
own
Okay.
show, like her own sketch comedy show, kind of like
Okay.
Carol Burnett kind of
Hmm.
style. Her name is Katie Brand, kind of a perfect name for nowadays because Brand, it's her brand
It's her brand.
name.
But she probably could drive a for sale sign through somebody's
She
stomach.
could.
She
She was
could.
a
So how did he
very,
overpower her? How did
I
he get
know, she
her?
was a tough chick. Well,
Yeah.
um, yeah, she was in the Katie Brand's big ass show. That was her name. And
Okay.
she's a
I'll have to look
comedy
that up.
person. And that's great. Yeah, I have to look that up on YouTube too. Um, but yeah, she's been in a bunch of she was in a show called on Hulu. There's a show on Hulu that she created called Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. So
Hmm.
I've never heard of it, but it stars Emma Thompson. It's on Hulu. So all right. Well, look, I liked her. As the movie
Uh-huh.
revolved more around her, I would have been okay because she and Lauren both had
Yeah.
like this like hatred for each other because both of them were bitches. Like they were
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
jerks. So they were just like, and I loved it. I loved it. If it were more of that, I would have loved this movie. If she were like playing paintball with them, I would have been down with it. But she probably cost the crew a little bit of money, and so they could only get her for a couple days. One of the days
Oh.
her guts is hanging out. That's it. Um, I would have loved if they like left a note saying, like in a note saying, to get the keys, you have to get up in them guts. See, comedy.
I mean, that's kind of, and it's that kind of gave me Saw feels too.
That's true. That's true. But it's not nearly as good as Saw.
No, well,
And
nothing can compare to that.
it's
In
hard.
fact,
What were you saying?
um,
what did you say?
so when I first saw the guts, the first thing I thought was little smoky sausages. Maybe maybe it was dinner time. I don't know, but I was just like, and I was like, oh, that's guts
That's probably what they used.
they used.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I've never made guts before, so I don't know what I have special effects people who probably would know. So Angel Bradford, if you're checking this video out, please tell us what do you use for guts? But I have no idea because I've never the only thing I've ever had to do is have somebody rip out somebody's heart in a movie. And
Nice.
the person had like a gelatin kind of heart. So when he grabbed it, it
Mm,
just kind of
just squished.
squished, which is kind of cool, I guess. But like, it's weird a little bit. Like, I didn't say anything because we did not have time to, like, I was happy we had a heart that the person. Oh well, it's also because he was like, "Eat your heart out, bitch." And and in real life, if her heart was out of her chest, chick would have been dead. But
Yeah, she.
it's a movie. You know, it's a movie. Whatever. That's just funnier. You know.
It's a movie. We can be cool with our guts and hearts hanging out and just be like,
Yeah,
whatever.
because that's what they did. They did. She
That's
had her
what.
guts. See, I think that's why, as a filmmaker, I look at a movie like this and I'm like, it's doesn't bother me that stuff like that happens. Like it because I just go I would have done the same thing, a little bit because it's just, if a chick had her guts hanging out, she's like, or like, you can't have her crying and yelling like the whole
Right.
time, that would be obnoxious after a while, or whatever. Or you could have her die, but then nobody would know that the key's in there.
Right. It's more interesting.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. They had to do it some way. I don't know. And honestly, the movie wasn't terrible. It wasn't like the worst movie I've ever seen or anything like beyond that. But honestly, it was just kind of meh to me. Like the director Darren Barry has directed nothing else. This is his only
Oh,
directing thing.
his first.
He has first. He is this. He was a cinematographer until 2018, and that's probably how he got this gig. Is he was a cinematographer, and then the producer said, do you wanna direct?" And most cinematographers, eventually wanna try their hand at directing, at least something. Maybe we'll go back to it. But yeah, he did that stuff. He was an colorist up until 2019. So he hasn't really done anything. The last project he directed was this Paintball Massacre, or done. This is Paintball
Is that
Massacre.
one?
So yeah. Uh, and I don't know. Like the directing wasn't bad. Like the look of the film
Hmm.
and the style and I mean, there was no style. There was nothing. There was nothing like no cool shots really.
Right.
Like it could have been cool if they got the camera up in the guts and when she's like looking around for
Like digging around in
yeah,
there.
digging
Yeah.
around in there, stuff like that. But like once again, a lot of that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of preparation, and a lot of these slashers, they just want to get this one and done. They just want to get this done. They don't want it to look cool because they just don't have time. It's just got to get.
Right, but I agree with you that there should have been, even when they were telling, the stories of what they did to the guy, it would have been cool if there was that flashback because, we don't empathize with the killer at all. And
Mhm.
being that he was a bully, I feel like, there should be some empathy, like, oh, poor kid. And instead we don't care, or I didn't care about him.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
I mean,
care
he's
about them.
killing people. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's okay to kill people, but you know what I mean? I don't, it's like you said in the beginning, the worst thing that happened to him was he got his pants pulled down, which probably wasn't fun, but you don't kill people over that.
Yeah.
Like you said in the beginning.
I had my pants taken down, not my underpants, just my regular pants taken down in front of a girl when I was in first grade, and I laughed.
Yeah.
I was like, "Whoa, don't do that again." But I laughed about it, and I was a little embarrassed, maybe, because the girl of my dreams at that time, was there, but and she saw it and laughed, but like that's it. There was no, like I'm not gonna go, oh my God, those guys, I'm gonna kill them, years later
Well,
at a paintball
this
tournament.
wasn't against a human, but the kids laugh. But I'm short, I'm little, and I rode the bus. And when I was in elementary school, I lived out in the country, so a lot of people didn't have their dogs on the leashes. And I can't tell you how many times this um, big old collie would because I had a fur coat on. This big old collie would come and try to grab at my coat and end up pulling my pants down. And I didn't kill anybody,
You didn't kill the
and they all
dog?
laughed at
Thank
me.
God.
I didn't. Well, no, I would never kill the dog. But all the kids on the bus laughed. It was fine. I'm sure I probably cried about it, but
I mean,
or maybe I'm not fine. Maybe that's why I'm demented, is because I had my pants pulled down in front of my classmates.
I don't know. That's something that maybe you might need to talk to a therapist about. I don't know,
Maybe I should. It
but
didn't bother. It didn't bother me until now, but yeah,
until you brought it up.
until you brought it up. Now,
See, I was
damn.
actually hypnopatizing you earlier, and
Ah, yes,
so now I'm bringing out the past stuff. Now you're
the
remembering all these
past.
things and that was the thing. Like this movie is about the past, and the past coming back to haunt us, right? What we did, you know, um, what we did in the past, we now will pay for in the future, kind of thing. Things always come back around, kind of thing, and and that's fine. Like that story has kind of been done, a lot, but it's really movies are not about not like because there's no way you can make a completely original film. There's
Yeah,
no way to do that. Like somebody has already done something that you thought of in some way or whatever. It's just the idea of making it new,
Yeah.
enough where, you know, where it's more about your story. It's about personal. And maybe this was personal. Maybe the writer, because he's not the director, it's not the same guy, but maybe the writer had some of this stuff happen to him as a kid. Maybe he had that stuff happen, or he knew somebody who had that happen, and he thought to himself, if what if I went on a killing spree, and stuff. And this was his
Yeah.
way of actually getting that done, without actually doing it. He's like, I'm
Right.
going to make a movie about it. And it's like, if that's the case, this movie to me is amazing. If it's just the guy just thought of, it'd be fun to do like prom night, but with, right? You've seen prom night, right? Where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
they pick on the guy and the guy comes back to kill them. I mean, that's basically what this movie is prom night, except with paintball. And except that they've even made him more boring than back in the 80s, and stuff. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, would be should if she watches this movie, should be shaking her head going, we did this better in
Mm-hmm.
the 1980s. But see, once again, that's the difficult thing, is creating something completely original. So taking that idea is fine. It's just you have to add your own personal stories into it. So I'm hoping that these were personal to the writer at least. And I'll give him credit for that. But aside from that, I don't think Paintball Massacre was a good movie, and I can recommend it if you watch it free on Tubi and you like slashers, Like it's literally an hour and a half of your time just kind of like cool kills, and stuff. But that's it, you know, right? Like you wouldn't watch this again, would you? You watched it twice. I'm sorry.
I just watched it twice for you. The first time around, and then it was hard for me to pay attention, and so then I watched it with the
Subtitles.
subtitles. Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I get what's going on, but I still don't like it. you know? I mean, it's not like I said, it's not a terrible movie. This isn't like the bottom of the barrel kind of things. This is just, you know,
Mediocre.
yeah,
Yeah.
mediocre. It's just a mediocre film where it's everything you've already seen in a slasher film, except now we're throwing paintballs into the mix and we're having the serial killer play paintball with you for a little bit.
Yeah.
And and that was the other thing. Once again, I want to go back to the idea that it should have been him shooting them. The guy acted like he got shot by a bullet, but he really got shot by a paintball.
But the paintball. Yeah.
It would have been cooler if it was the bullet. I don't know why they decided to say, "Oh, it's just a paintball." I'm like, now where's the stakes? The stakes are just going through the guy's heart, but the stakes aren't, you know, stakes being the stakes of the, for sale sign. But the real stakes in the movie don't matter. Uh-oh. Did I lose you for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was
Just
saying,
just for a second.
okay, I was just saying like the stakes didn't even matter in this movie. So I don't know. It
Right.
was sort of a I don't know, just mediocre, boring movie. I don't know.
It was okay.
If I saw this at the Dollar Tree or $1.25 tree as a movie to pick up, I would pick it up just to have, but I don't think I'd watch it again. I have no, but I would recommend it to anybody who likes slashers, likes war kind of movies, I guess, and doesn't mind that it's going to be kind of boring, you're a little bit, but if you just need something on the background while you're doing something, this would probably be kind of the perfect movie for that, you know, right? Uh-oh. Did I lose you again? Oh, shit. It's working good before.
Yeah.
Okay, there, I
Um
lost you for a
I
sec. Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me?
really hard for me to find a movie that captivates my attention. And if you and I were watching it on Tubi, I would probably maybe 20 minutes in, I would have said,
Let's
goodbye,
watch,
Jonathan. Just let me know how it ends.
or you had been like, let's watch something else. That's not boring.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, some people are gonna watch the movie to the end no matter what. And I would have been out, just like, can you tell me about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, well, thank you, Misty, for watching this twice for me and
Thank
reviewing it.
you.
I really appreciate that. Everybody, like I said, go see it if you want to, but you're probably like Misty, going to want to turn off within 20 minutes. So, I mean, I'm just saying this. A lot of times, people listen to these reviews and they're like, "Oh my God, it's that bad! I got to check this out." And I'm like, "All right, go ahead. It's your
Okay, they
funeral."
should totally check it out, just because I did love Lauren so much. I'm the, she's like, I've got a nail appointment. I gotta go. Check it
Yeah.
out for Lauren, and the scene with the guts.
The scene with the guts, all the stuff with Lauren,
Scene with the,
apparently, I guess. Lauren,
I'm
Lauren's
just
she's
because
more fun.
she was a badass. Yeah, I liked her. The only thing I didn't like about her was that she was willing to leave people behind. I didn't like that, but other than that, I mean, I could see me being like, "Hey, I don't have time for this slasher bullshit. I gotta go. We're
Yeah,
leaving."
I want to live, so
Yes.
let's do everything we can to live. So I get that, but anyway, I Lauren was the best part of the movie. I knew it. I knew it the second that she like beat the guy up for like checking on her and stuff. I was like, okay, this girl's gonna be like the fun chick of the group, And she was, Sarah, I thought was probably the cutest. I'm into blondes, so like I was like, she's cute. But then if that chick were alive and talking to me about Fast and Furious all the time, I'd be like, sorry, I gotta go. Bye. You know, Shit, did I lose you again? Oh, okay, I didn't.
For a second.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord. All right. Well, I think that's telling us it's time to wrap up. So thank you once again. Tell us you make stuff like at your house. Tell us some more about that so people who at home will know what you do.
Yeah, so I have a full-time job, and then a few years ago, just to reduce stress from my full-time job, I got into making props, and so I make those on the side, and gotten into selling some. I think probably my best one was the Evil Dead 2 skulls. I think I made 30 of those, and the
Nice.
Hocus Pocus book. But
Those are fun.
yeah, except for that movie was a flop, so that didn't
The
help me
sequel,
much. Yeah,
was it a flop? I mean,
yeah.
people
No,
talked
nobody
about it.
likes it. Yeah, they don't like it.
Well, no, it wasn't
But
a
yeah,
flop
so
as
that's
far as like people watching it and viewing it. It was just a flop,
no,
but people
everybody
didn't
viewed
like
it.
it. But I loved it. I actually thought it was fun. It's cute.
Thanks.
You know.
But that's what I do for, fun and to reduce stress. And it helps me connect with, cool people like you and all my other haunt and horror friends that I've made.
Yeah, so there you go. Do you have a website?
I don't have a website, so everything's just kind of on my personal page.
So can you tell us what your personal page is?
It's on Facebook, Misty Wagner.
All right, cool. That is awesome. Thank you so much because this has been
Thank you.
sort of a fun little project and stuff. So I'm very happy that you're a part of this. Did you have a good time?
I did, and I'm very honored that you had me on the show. Like I said, I was a little bit nervous because this is my first YouTube interview, but it was fun. It was exciting,
Yeah, it was
and I
fun,
appreciate it. Thank you.
fun little project. All right. Well, thank you once again, and everybody else. Check out tomorrow. And then I think we have like basically we have 2 more days left of this thing, and then it's Halloween or well, no, 2 more days and then it's November after that. So one more day and then it's Halloween. So anyway, thank you for checking this out. Check out sickflickproductions.com, indiefilmcafe.reviews, indiefilmcafe.podbean.com, and if for $1, if you can If you'd like to give $1 to Indie Film Cafe, you'll get or on our Patreon. Excuse me. You'll get a Patreon only, was it podcast. So, and that only you who are patrons can hear. So come listen to that and check it out and help us out at Indie Film Cafe. Thank you once again, Misty,
Thank
and
you.
everybody else. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.